I just created a little impromptu speech and I wrote it on my name card, so you don't have to worry that it's going to be very long. I'll start off by acknowledging the presence of my wife Adrienne, who is over there, and she's a bit lazy tonight because she usually actually writes my speeches, and my Nobel Prize speech was particularly funny and had the line is, the final line, secret to winning the Nobel was, work hard, keep balance in your life, and always be kind to Swedish people. The other person I'd like to just quickly acknowledge is Ramya Mova. Where is Ramya? Who's my mentee. There she's over there. And I'll mention her again in a second as we go on. And thanks very much to the Advance Committee directors and board. I can see there's a lot of very, very talented Australians all over the place these days, and they've really made some great choices. So congratulations, and congratulations to all the awardees. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about them. One of the things that perhaps got me onto this international stage is the number of trips I do to go to China now, and I think I have the luxury of getting so many invitations that I can really filter them out and do good quality activities and events in China. So I have a little company in Hong Kong that sort of manages my activities, and that's called Infagen. But I would say that what I want to do is that if there's an Australian in China doing a collaboration or some kind of business activity, I want people in China to say, okay, it must be real, dinky die, if they know that. It's going to be honest, we're going to have a long view, and we're going to try to do world's best standards. So as a Nobel laureate, I found out that we live a hell of a long time, supposedly. So I'm not going to be doing any activities in China which might, in 20 years' time, might not look so good. I want them all to look good and grow. And I think at the moment, Australia punches above its weight, and outside Australia, internationally, people look back at Australia and they kind of have a positive feeling about the country because the expats out of Australia usually do a pretty good and pretty honest job. So thank you all for inviting me here to Sydney once more. And the final thing, I've gone over time slightly, but the final thing, we're all a bit worried in science at the moment. We don't think Australians are spending enough money on science and on health. We're getting older, the baby boomers are going to need all kinds of things done, and so it's going to be more expensive. So if you're anything to do with the government, or you've got any influence with your Member of Parliament, just tell them, Professor Marshall says, the government should only fund treatments and medical things which are proven to work, because we haven't got an unlimited budget and we're all paying for it in our taxes. So if it's proven to work, the government is obliged to fund it. So that'll keep the health industry and research going forever, just on that. But conversely, if it's not proven to work, it's immoral and should be illegal for the government to fund it. So I want to see lots of people doing work to find out what works and what doesn't. And my mentee, Ramya Mova, is going to probably get a career in that. She's interested in clinical research, being a clinical trial monitor, and being one of these people who audits all the research and all the medical activities in Australia. So at the moment, we're really top of the pack in that area. The TGA is as good as the US FDA. We want to keep it up to that very high standard. And the Chinese FDA is really modelling itself on what happens in US and Australia. And what we discover or prove in Australia flows out. And around the world, people are going to say, it's approved in Australia. We don't have to spend a lot of money double checking it. We'll go with that. So it's going to benefit all of us. So that's my lecture for tonight. Thanks very much.